Welcome to the trade room. It is Q here, and we're here today to get an update on XRP, part three of the trilogy between blockchain technology, digital assets slash cryptocurrencies, and where we are going, right? As a space, more specifically, XRP, the possible price that we project it to be at, when the case is going to be over, and how we are planning towards that, right? We're continuously accumulating. Now, before we move on, I want to say that part three is going to be in two parts. So part 3A, part 3B. Part 3A is going to have a breakdown of what's going on fundamentally, what's going on in the world, where we're at right now, and the court case, when we believe it's going to be over and what we're expecting from it. And then part two separately is going to be the technical analysis, the breakdown, where we expect prices to go and how we can use certain metrics to look at that as well. So we're definitely going to get into that. I know right off the bat, everybody wants to know price, where is it going? When is it going? But this is going to be two parts, and really and truly, you need to understand the full trilogy to understand why even XRP could be valuable, but why digital currencies, right? Blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies are going to be valuable moving forward. So have a little patience. I know my videos are a little long, but before we move on, I want to state that I am not a financial advisor. Don't take anything I say as financial advice. And we're here sharing information. We're here as macro investors. And as macro investors, we can sleep at night knowing that we've done the research to the things that we have here. But really, we're just sharing information and sharing our theses on what's happening in the world. So if you're a fan of that, leave a comment, like, subscribe, hit that little notification bell for when I put out these videos, because I don't put them out often. And let's get right into it. So what we're going to look at now before we get into the full trilogy is we're just going to look at the overall market. It has been 4 years, 4 to 5 years investing in crypto for the trade room. But it has been 2 years that we have been recording and analyzing and updating the trilogy, aka XRP in the cryptocurrency space. And so at this very current moment, the number one asset, Bitcoin, sits at 42, nearly 43,000. It's up 4% on the 7-day. Ethereum is up 10% on the 7-day at 3,000. And really, XRP is also at 84 cents. And so the market is having a nice little 7 days. The market is also, to me, I think, this is the 23rd of March, 2022, I think the market has bottomed out, and you'll understand more when we look at the technical analysis, and you may even get that sentiment when we look at the fundamental analysis. But we're going to see really why we think there's a bottom in on the technical analysis. We see here that Ethereum Classic, not Ethereum, is one of the biggest movers at this current moment, and that's going to be explained why we believe that's the case, not only in the fundamentals, but really in the technicals when we talk about price, where we think price is going in the short, medium, and long term. And so let's keep Ethereum in mind. We're not going to spend too much time here. We obviously see the market is up in the 7-day, even after correcting, right? Because it's been a whole year since April of 2022 that the market, some things are down 60, 80, 90% in the market. If you came in April of 2021, you might be a little devastated. Your psychology might be a little devastated right now because you don't feel like you're in profit unless you dollar cost averaged, right? And so we're just going to move on here. And really, this article here is what we're going to start with. And basically, we're going to talk about the court case, but we can see here that this article says only XRP and Bitcoin will be safe if Ripple wins SEC lawsuit. Now, that can seem like some sort of brash statement, but it's all predicated to the court case that was dropped in November of 2020, nearly a year and a half to 2 years ago. The things that we have found out as the court case is going on, when you look into the court case deeply, and where even Bitcoin maximalists, even the people who might even not be holding XRP, but are really respected in crypto, are starting to see that the SEC's case is, if anything, a little bit or a lot of bits unorganized. No proclamation of fraud, and seeing that, oh my goodness, when Ripple, the company that's using the XRP technology, when Ripple comes out of this, they're going to be in a really good place, along with possibly Bitcoin being the only not only the only financial company that uses blockchain, but the XRP ledger, which is the technology, will be one of the only blockchains to have regulatory clarity as the ISO 222, which is the international change of payments, launches, right? The new update for what everybody agrees on launches and starts that updates of financial services to not only individual countries but globally. But I want to give that perspective on the fact that we are looking forward and not looking backwards, because we understand that this case from the SEC has no merit. They're going to drag it out as long as they want to drag it out. XRP, Ripple Labs, and the XRP ledger looking ahead on the different rails and the different banks that they've set themselves up with, quite honestly, with a much better technology than what is out there right now. So part 2 of the trilogy, part 3 of the trilogy will give more information on what's really happening and what's happened in the past with the court case, and why we're just so eagerly looking forward, because we're past the court case, right? And so maybe we believe that the court case could be ending sometime at the latest in September-ish. There could be a settlement at any point in time, and really we're just letting the SEC drag their feet as long as they need to, while we continue to accumulate our bags, because they've given us time to accumulate our bags. And I'm not a lawyer, so I can tell you that we're looking forward, but what you can do is you can follow up with a real lawyer, that's by the name of Jeremy Hogan. All right, I have his Twitter up here, but you can also find his website as well on his Twitter, or Google him or YouTube him. He's a real lawyer. He's been following his case. And even as of recently, right? And I'll go ahead and read the Twitter here. He says, I tried to analyze this for you in a true legal sense, but my mind was blown by the part below, and I couldn't think about much else after. Is the SEC potentially hiding a document in which the SEC concluded that XRP was not a security? What does Solomon know? And who is Solomon? Solomon is the current head lawyer for Ripple Labs, who's the one who's being sued by the SEC. Keep in mind, there's no fraud claim here. It's a marketing thing and hey, you're selling securities. Meanwhile, there literally isn't a crypto that's able to function really as a crypto by being a security. And so we can see here that in court documents that were dropped, the lawyer said that maybe even the analysis that was done by the SEC, those documents that they want to see, that they may have even analyzed XRP in itself and made a statement on if it was not a security. See, we're not scared to see the documents. We're not scared because we have the truth on our side. All right, 65,000 XRP investors that said, hey, SEC, you're seeing Ripple Labs, but sue us too, because we don't believe you're actually protecting us, which is what you're meant to do. So I don't want to spend too much time on this. Jeremy Hogan's a great lawyer. He's looking at this case. He's giving a lot of insight. We're moving forward. And one of the last things I'll show you here about Ripple Labs, the company that's using this XRP technology, is that within the court case happening, they went from a $10 billion valuated company to a $15 billion valuated company. So you're telling me in the middle of a lawsuit with the Securities and Exchange Commission, a governmental figure, your business valuation goes up 50%? I mean, come on now. We know what's going on here, right? And so when we come here, we directly see here that Ripple's $15 billion valuation and best year on record, right? So from the CEO's mouth himself, right? Excited to announce Ripple bought back our Series C December 2019 shares at a 15 billion valuation, right? 2022 slowdown is not in our vocabulary. Even with 2021's headwinds, it was our best year on record, and Ripple's financial position, 1 billion in the bank, is the strongest we've ever been. And so tell me here, if I was in the middle of a court case with the SEC and I was really sweating and wasn't able to sleep at night, you think I'd be out here tweeting that I got 1 million in the bank? No, I would not. Let's move on. Now, we directly follow Ripple Labs, which is just one financial company deciding to use blockchain technology, distributed ledger technology in their financial products. They're based in the United States, and the United States just dropped what? Just dropped an executive order. And what's going to be really important about highlighting this executive order is that executive orders are, I don't want to say they're rash, but they're implemented when there needs to be things done faster, right? Trump came and dropped a whole lot of executive orders. Obama came and dropped a whole lot of executive orders on things that he believed that we should not wait to handle. And so on March 9th, 2022, the Biden administration dropped an executive order. Now, before we get to that executive order and what it says in it, I want to show you this map here, right? And this map basically shows, again, Ripple Labs using the XRP technology have a financial product called ODL, on-demand liquidity, where it allows businesses, SMEs, small to medium enterprises, individuals, whoever you want, right? Because the XRP ledger is an open sourced technology. Anybody can build on it. But the financial institutions, the banks, anybody that's building and using the XRP ledger to build the financial products, especially using the on-demand liquidity, is global. It's being used globally, and it's free to be used globally. The only place that it is not free for financial institutions, investment banks, hedge funds to really use the technology is the United States. And so what this executive order says is it's nothing scary to me as an investor. It basically is the US acknowledging that they are behind and things need to be implemented immediately, and agencies need to start communicating with each other. And so when we talk about the three-headed monster, the XRP, XRP Ledger, and Ripple Labs, when we talk about where cryptocurrency is going, we see a world power like the US implementing faster processing of these systems. And we're also going to see how this relates to the petrodollar. And I guarantee you, if you do not understand what the petrodollar is, you will not understand the price breakdown on the other end of where we believe XRP is going to go and where we believe where the entire market is going to go. But I'm just going to read a small excerpt of this executive order, and then we're going to move on, right? So Biden himself, right, by the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered as follows. Section 1, policy. What we're basically focusing on. What's the blanket statement of the things that we're looking at? Advances in digital and distributed ledger technologies for financial services have led to dramatic growth in markets for digital assets, with profound implications for the protection of consumers, investors, and businesses, including data privacy and security, financial stability and systemic risk, crime, national security, the ability to exercise human rights, financial inclusion and equity, and energy demand and climate change. A lot of important things that were mentioned here, and a lot of things that are important to the everyday individual, and that's important for the government to provide it for their citizens. They are acknowledging here. And really, more specifically, what I heard aside from the financial services was financial stability and systemic risk. We're going to talk about the petrodollar later down the line, but we have to understand what these world powers are doing and what the US is doing now, realizing that it should have paid more attention to cryptocurrencies and it should have created these baseline avenues and regulations so that the US can really flourish, because other countries, third world, second world, and first world countries are embracing this technology. So we're going to move on here. I've mentioned the petrodollar a couple times, and really we can talk about price, we can talk about price, we can talk about price, but I'm going to make you wait for price, because we need to, in order for you to understand price, in order for you not look at me like, oh, this guy is smoking some crack. In order for you to not look at me like that, you have to understand what's happening in the world, money, what money is, what the petrodollar is, and what world powers and countries are doing right now when it comes to their finances, their currencies, and even some of the currency wars that are happening. So this is a short excerpt of what can go, let's say, wrong with the petrodollar. What is the petrodollar? The petrodollar is just really in the 70s, 1970s, where the US was trying to figure out a way to make dollars be used more, get more demand for dollars. And we've seen the US grow tremendously from 1970 till now, right? Even though, we're $30 trillion in debt, we've seen the US grow tremendously. And that was because they went to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia had a lot of oil, and they made the deal with them to what? They made the deal with Saudi Arabia to peg their oil sales to the US dollar. And that kind of set the chain for countries globally to peg oil to the US dollar. And that oil is the number one commodity, or the number one traded commodity in the world, and it has been for a long time. And so that allowed the US to be a dominant force and a dominant power for 50 plus years. And so Ray Dalio, which is one of the most famous investors, has a great little YouTube documentary and written a book about world powers and how that change happens, and currencies and money printing and things of that nature. But there are 70% more US dollars outside the US than there are in the US, meaning that there are 30% US dollars in the US, and that there are 70 outside the US because of how much the world is using it to trade with oil. So if you have a system like that, awesome. But what happens when that system possibly gets in jeopardy? And we'll talk about what's possibly putting it in jeopardy right now. And a big part of that is money printing. Right? You have high demand, awesome, but are you printing more supply? And are countries and sovereignties getting upset about that you're printing the supply? And so let's watch this explanation of the petrodollar and what it's been looking like for the petrodollar and what to be concerned about before we move on within the matrix.
In countries around the world is because oil is bought and sold using the greenback. If oil starts trading in non-petrodollars, such as gold or a basket of currencies, or if China and Russia start trading in yuan and ruble rather than US dollars, that demand isn't there. And the way of life for the average American will be done. It will be worse than the Great Depression.
All right, so yeah, this is a documentary here on the Colder War. Digital asset investor on Twitter. You should go follow him. He speaks on it all the time, and he's made a few connections. But the petrodollar or the dollar's connection to oil is very important to the U.S. And what's been really troubling over the last few years is that the U.S. has printed a substantial amount of dollars and really are dumping, these dollars on the rest of the world because the world is trading these in U.S. dollars, and then that also gives the U.S. the power to sanction, punish other countries financially that you could be doing the wrong thing. You could be doing the right thing, but the US might not want that. Or you could be looking to remove your reliance on the dollar and create something of your own. And it's not advantageous to making the dollar stronger, which the US wants the dollar to be stronger. Now, like I said, I love the US. I live here. I'm a citizen. I'm not going to be talking trash about the US. US, I'm cool with y'all. But there are some things financially that are just not equal. Not equal. And, I won't get too much into the nitty gritty of it, but understand why it's important that the US dollar be attached to Petro oil, and understand that now where we are is that some of the major world powers, China, Russia, Saudi Arabia, other countries are really either sick and tired of relying on the US dollar or just looking for other systems, right? Other systems that's going to allow them to trade commodities, that's going to allow them to back their currencies, that's going to allow them to communicate with other entities of the world and still get their trading, importing, exporting, their forex is done, their supply chains done, their oil purchases. And so it's a real thing that is currently what's happening, right? China, Russia, and EU edge away from petrodollar. I mean, this has been all the way since 2019, but these countries have been working on a way to self-govern themselves financially for a long time. And so, an article like this you can go read, but China, they're working on their digital currency, right? The Chinese yuan. Russia, no matter what's going on in between these countries, they're working on their digital currency, but also their own payment system that's able to communicate with other countries, and a way to separate themselves again, too, because they have a lot of oil, for them to back their oil in a way where they're not relying on the US, especially with some of these sanctions that the US is putting onto Russia. So, the U.S. has to have another plan than the petrodollar. And I believe the U.S. is working on it because other countries have plans as well. And this is where we get into, XRP, the role that cryptocurrency has to play, because I do believe that it's not just going to be one reserve currency like it is right now. Right now, the U.S. is the number one reserve currency. All right. And so there's going to be a basket of currencies, a basket of messaging systems, and blockchain and cryptocurrency solve that issue and allow better messaging, info, better financial technology, and it allows the flow of money to move around much, much easier. And these countries are going to be releasing CBDCs and other things, even aside from what regular crypto blockchain technology is doing right now. And we as XRP investors are basically saying, hey, we've seen for 10 years that XRP has killed payments, killed settlements in a sense of positively, has gone from a $1 billion valued company to a 5 to a 10 to a now 15 billion valuated company, is top 10 in the top 10 of all of cryptocurrency, and is solving a lot of problems. And they're really championing these problems by deciding to use the XRP ledger technology, which uses XRP as one of their primary tools, along with the blockchain, it's really a no-brainer in the fact that we are doing what? We can look forward. All right. And so when it comes to some of these volatile market movements, when you see these 96% drops, when you see from April 21st, 2021, till now, that the market has been overall in a downtrend, it should not deter you, because you have to check yourself. You have to check your psychology, and you have to ask yourself, what is my plan? Is my plan to be a macro investor or a micro investor? We know that in the trade room, we are macro investors. So we're looking at the macro picture. We're looking at for buying opportunities, and we're looking to check our psychology. And so if you look here, you want to be buying in the disbelief. You want to be buying in the hope, because that's when you can continue to dollar cost average in, not rush anything, continue to buy in, and you want to be the person that sells that thrill. You want to be the person that sells that euphoria, because we in the markets are human. Humans control prices. And when you put a lot of humans together, those lot of humans are going to make those emotional decisions. But at the end of the way, when you have solutions to problems, when you have a company that's profitable and showing that they can not only solve these problems but be profitable, your Teslas, your Apples, your Amazons, while they're using technology, you see these parabolic rises, which are just like the human psychology. We get mad, we get happy. We get mad, we get happy. Sometimes there's an in between. And so, as macro investors, we're riding these waves. And if you have stayed along till this time, that second video that drops will be all about what? Will be all about the technical charts. We're going to look at Bitcoin. We're going to look at macro picture, right? Macro charts. We're going to look at from all the way from 2011 all the way till present day. And we're really going to break this down in terms of price movement, where we believe not only where Bitcoin is going to go, where XRP is going to go, but also remember, we mentioned Ethereum Classic, right? What's going on with Ethereum Classic right now? Why is it up about 70%? What's that telling us about the rest of the market? And what are we getting ready to do? And where do we believe these prices are going, especially for XRP? So that will be dropped in the next video. But I hope I was able to paint this picture for you. I hope we're able to understand why we're looking forward past this court case. And really, when you look at it, it's going to be a multi-chain world. It's not just one asset that's just going to rule the world. No, it's going to be a multi-chain world, and we want profitable companies that have passed regulatory clarity, and that's where we choose to store our value, right? 80% crypto right now in all my savings. That's where I choose to store my value, because I understand where this technology is going. Spotify, latest tech giant, plans to support NFTs. You're seeing crypto being used everywhere. Where is Spotify valued at today? When Spotify first dropped, they were disturbing the music industry. Them along with Apple, they were disturbing the music industry. They had a lot of pushback. And now they understand what it means to innovate and what it means to upgrade and accept technology. And they're also now getting into crypto. And I believe the Spotify stock is valued at like $300. Correct me if I'm wrong, from where it IPO'd. And so that's the general gist. All right. The next video that releases, it's gonna be all about technical analysis, all about price. Now that we've done all our research on part A of the trilogy, where do we see price going? Part 1 is gonna drop on Friday morning. Part 2 is gonna drop on Friday night. So keep a close eye on both of them. This is the XRP update. We are macro investors. I'm sorry if my videos continue to be very long, but this is serious. This is serious, right? And so like comment, subscribe, share this with a friend that may just need to understand why you're looking at investing in crypto a certain way. And look forward to dropping the second update, guys. Peace.